Good morning, sir.
What time is it?
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sir.
Oh, thank God for that. I thought I'd overslept.
I trust you had a pleasant evening, sir.
Well, no. Actually, the most extraordinary thing happened. Last night, I was having a bit of a snack at the Naughty Hellfire Club, and some fellow said I had the wit and sophistication of a donkey.
Oh, an absurd suggestion, sir.
You're right. It is absurd.
Unless, of course, it was a particularly stupid donkey.
And that's not all. I got another problem. I've run out of socks again. Why is it that no matter how many millions of pairs of socks I buy, I never seem to have any? They just disappear. Honestly, you'd think someone was coming in here stealing the damn things and then selling them off.
That would be impossible, sir. Only you and I have access to your socks.
Yes, you're right. Still, it looks like I'll have to ask for an increase to my stock stipend.
I wouldn't pin my hopes on that, sir. You know what our Prime Minister Pitt the Younger has been saying about your spending habits.
What? Young Snotty? Is that oily little tick still singing the same tune?
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I shall be brief, as my geography master, Banana Breath Squigshanks, has most irregularly scheduled an exam right in the middle of half holes. Furthermore, Nanny insisted on giving me black currant jam for breakfast this morning, which I utterly detest. Ugh. I have reprioritised my 3 main policies, and war with France now ranks last. Second, even tougher sentences for geography teachers. But first, and above all else, the cancellation of the Prince Regent's sock stipend, which he has already greatly exceeded. Why, this year alone, apart from the £59,000 I have previously reported to you, this utter slob has astonishingly spent a further £40,000 on socks, which is outrageous. I therefore call upon each and every one of you to set an example and vote unanimously in the fight against sloth and privilege. I also call upon the Leader of the Opposition to test me on my Latin vocab. Again.
I say, Blackadder, is it me, or is young Snotty looking a bit worse for wear these days?
Well, you're not wrong there, sir. On the streets they're starting to call him Older Pitt the Younger, Ancient Pitt, the no longer youthful, and Antiquated Pitt, the incredibly decrepit.
They say politics does age a man prematurely, but my God.
Well, Your Majesty, I shall round up Baldrick immediately and begin your search for your missing socks.
Well, time to make myself ready for the day, I suppose. Let's see if I'm as handsome as yesterday. Yes, I certainly am. Ugh. Well, isn't this mirror dirty? For all that grubby little servant always seems to be doing spring cleaning, this mirror is filthy. I suppose I could do with a touch-up. Bloody strange. Think about my socks. Keep buying 'em, keep losing 'em. How does that keep happening to a chap like me? I even have a butler to keep track of my clothes, and he's a brilliant chap, old Bladder. comes up with the most marvellous cunning plans. I had some of the most magnificent socks. Socks in every colour of the rainbow, silk socks, linen socks, wool socks for winter woven so fine and soft they were like wearing warm air on my shapely calves. One pair actually had gold thread woven into the pattern of enormous pairs of trousers. The lads at the Naughty Hellfire Club said the ladies would go wild for 'em. But damned if they weren't gone when I woke up the next morning. Only got to wear 'em once. Blackadder said I came home without them. Of course, I don't remember having been completely blottoed. So I must have either lost them at the club or been robbed on the way home. There's no explanation for it. Buttons too. The oddest thing. I got dressed in the morning, neat as a pin, nothing out of place, and an hour later one of my buttons is gone. Just gone. Nope. No socks in there either. Looks like I'm going to have to send Blackadder out for some new socks. Pah! Young Mr. Snotty Prime Minister Snotty never had such socks as I have worn. He's jealous, that's it. What can he do about it? Nothing, that's what. He acts like a big shot, but he just wishes he had such socks as mine. Why, the exclusive sock merchants I patronise wouldn't even let someone of his calibre through the door. Oh well, it's not as though someone is cleaning out my coin purse. It's just that my socks are like pie. Tons of it about, but I never seem to get any.
Baldrick, this kitchen is so filthy it would be unacceptable to a dung beetle who'd lost all interest in its career and really let itself go. I thought I told you to throw away that nasty thing.
Oh, Mr. B, I can't get rid of the dream turnip. Besides, I've hollowed it out, and it's perfect for keeping things in.
What kinds of things, Baldrick? Your brain is so minute, Baldrick. If a hungry cannibal cracked your skull open, there would barely be enough to cover a water biscuit.
Well, it's not just turnips, sir. I've been using it to hide all the socks as you've been stealing from the prince.
Shut up, Baldrick, someone might hear you.
What, like that person?
Have you been sitting there the whole time? Baldrick, who is this?
I don't know, sir. I caught them sneaking out of the prince's chamber. They were hiding in the wardrobe. You know, the one with the one-way mirror the prince is so fond of looking into. Well, when they came out, they were talking about young Snotty and Hellfire. I couldn't make heads nor tails of it, sir, but they said it was cold outside, so I let them sit by the fire.
Gather up all the socks we have collected, Baldrick, and meet me at Mrs. Miggins' shop. I have a plan so cunning you could put a tail on it and call it a weasel.
Oh, what is the cunning plan, sir?
I'll explain when I arrive, Baldrick. And take this intruder with you. As disreputable as they look, they might be useful.
You see how he trusts me with his important business? He knows he can count on Mr. S. Baldrick. Oh, talking to me like that's just his way. He's got to keep me in my place. It's the way of things. I'm kept in my place by Mr. B. Mr. B is kept in his place by the Prince, and the Prince is kept in his place by, well, I don't know. The Prime Minister, I suppose. And I'm at the bottom of the heap. But it's not all bad. It's all about proportion. See, Mr. B's got the right idea. He don't steal nothing very valuable from the Prince. Just socks, right? Missing socks is annoying, but it's not like someone's cleaned out your coin purse. No, it's not enough to really notice or get suspicious about. So that's what I do. Skim off the top in proportion. Let's say we've got a sock, right? Well, if I snip off a bit, just a little bit, then it's still a perfectly good sock, and no one's the wiser. Once I collect enough bits, I can make a whole new sock. Each one's unique. There isn't a sock like this anywhere else in the world. And it all came from bits of other socks that no one even knew was missing. Oh, the buttons. Nice, ain't they? Well, where I got those was, sometimes when I'm feeling very brave, I sneak up behind the Prince and snip off one or two of his buttons. Mr. B don't notice me doing it, and when he finds a button missing from the Prince's clothes, he chalks it up to the carelessness of the very rich, and no one's the wiser. What am I going to do with the socks? Why, take them down to the gutter and sell them to the other gutter snipes, of course. It'll be the nicest thing any of them's ever had to wear. Well, they'll have to go in 6 or 7 of them on one sock and share it around so they each get 1 day a week. The best day of the week for a gutter snipe that gets to wear a sock. They'll be like royalty among the other snipes for that 1 day. How do I know? Well, you might not believe it, seeing me in my current exalted position, but I used to be a gutter snipe. It's true. It's where I found out I had 2 names. I thought my given name was just Baldrick, but when I introduced myself to the other gutter snipes and said, "Hello, my name's Baldrick," they said, "Yes, we know. Sod off, Baldrick." I was so proud to learn that I had a given name and a family name. Well, it's true, it's not a very nice name. That's why I shortened it to S. Mr. S. Baldrick. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But don't mention the Mr. part to Mr. B. He tends to make comments about my status which I don't care for. Anyway, once I sell enough socks, I'll be able to save up enough to buy a nice turnip of my own. Or, if I work very hard for many years, a great big turnip in the country. Well, come on. We better get going to Mrs. Miggins's.
Hello, Baldrick. Why have you got that enormous turnip with you?
Hello, Mrs. Miggins. Mr. B told me to meet him here and bring these socks as he's been collecting from the Prince, but I don't know why.
Ah, he's a clever one, our Mr. B. He'll have a cunning plan in mind. Mark my words.
Oh, here he is.
Hello, Mrs. Miggins. Oh, hello, Mr. Kenrick. Mr. Mossop. On your way to rehearsal, are we?
My dear, it is that impertinent butler. Step aside, odious man.
What are you rehearsing? Is it
No, don't say it.
Macbeth? What a couple of insufferable buffoons.
Well, to be fair, Mr. B, you are only a butler and quite impertinent too.
You know, Mrs. M, they do say that verbal insults are worse than anything physical. They are, of course, wrong, which you will soon discover when I stick this toasting fork into your head. Now, I'm looking for a Frenchman.
Well, Mr. B, you certainly changed your tune. Last time you were in here, you didn't think much of our aristocratic French guests.
Of course not, Mrs. Miggins. I can't pretend to be happy whilst revolutionary France has caused London to become overrun with garlic-smelling Frenchies who go around going, ooh la la, and expect sympathy just because their father's heads got chopped off. But I do have a cunning plan, and I need a Frenchie.
Well, vivre to that, and an eclair for both of us.
What's the cunning plan then, sir? You promised you'd tell me when you got here.
Very well, Baldrick. You see these French knobs around here, bemoaning their fate and missing their shadows and their servants. What they need is something to make them feel aristocratic again, something elegant to wear. And what could be more elegant than a prince's socks?
See, didn't I tell you, Baldrick? Mr. Blackadder's a clever one. You try that Frenchie over there, Mr. B. He's called Le Comte de Frou Frou. He's been down in the dumps all day, moaning over his cold legs.
Thank you, Mrs. Miggins. Baldrick, come with me.
Well then, dearie, who are you? Well, aren't you the lucky one? You know, between you and me, dear, I've always hoped that he'd settle down and marry me, and that together we might await the slither of tiny adders. So many years I've been running this pie shop alone, admiring Mr. Blackadder from afar, putting up with his insults, his neglect, his inability to see what a perfect match we would be. Sometimes I think I see a spark of affection behind those beady eyes, and sometimes I think our love is never to be. He's so brilliant, so cunning, such an admirable gentleman. I don't understand why he hasn't made his move. Why, with my looks and his brains, what couldn't we achieve between us? He could help me turn this place into the most magnificent and profitable pie shop in London. I'd be wearing silks and satins as I bake the pies, and he'd have plenty of money to spend instead of trying to squeeze it out of the prince, bit by bit. But no, He's wasting his energies on selling socks to those Frenchies. I wish I could just forget him, but who can forget such a distinguished gentleman? Only once have I been able to think of another man. It was when I had a dream one night of a red-haired man with a wild glint in his eye, who told me I must fight his wife in the old Highland manner. What a wild and lusty gentleman he was. But when I awoke, no red-haired man was to be seen. Only this pie shop and the daily slog of pies and customers. But now that the Frenchies are here, every day's exciting. I hear things like Sacre Bleu and Mon Dieu and Frere Chacun all day long. Do you know, one of them asked me to cook frog's legs the other day. Can you imagine? Well, I did it, and they were delicious. Just goes to show what an adventurous spirit can get you. Well, I haven't got all day to be dawdling around talking with you. Time to make a fresh pan of chicken pimpernel or in a scarlet sauce. Or was it scarlet chicken in a pimpernel sauce? Anyway, go on with you. Run along with that gorgeous Mr. Blackadder.
Do you speak English?
A little.
Now, when you say little, what exactly do you mean? I mean, can we talk? Or are we going to spend the entire afternoon asking each other ways to the beach in very loud voices?
No. I can order coffee, deal with waiters, make sexy chit-chat with girls, that type of things.
Oh, good.
Just don't ask me to take a physiology class or direct a light opera.
No, I won't. Now listen, Frou Frou. I can see you don't have any socks on. How do you feel about that?
Oh, ne me parlez pas de ça. J'ai tellement froid aux jambes sans mes chaussettes.
Look, you here, can you speak French? Oh, good. Listen here, Frou Frou. I haven't got time to mess around listening to all this nonsense from you. Speak to this chap here.
I can speak English. I was just a little overexcited, as my aristocratic legs have been suffering ever since I came to this wretched country. I will talk to this person anyway because they seem more sympathetic than you, monsieur. It is indeed a very serious problem. Since I came to England, it is impossible to find any quality socks. Yes, I have some expectations regarding the quality of my sock. They must be made with silk only, and here they are only selling bad quality, poor quality, cheap socks made of wool. It is itchy and it is scratching my legs. And when I complain to the salesperson, they get mad and nobody wants to sell me any sock anywhere, even the bad ones. So that's why I'm so desperate. My legs are so cold, and my feet as well. Oh, yes. I will do anything to get again some beautiful aristocratic socks like the ones I had in France. But here, nobody seems to understand my problem. Oh, even when I'm chatting with my fellow French companions, the only socks they are concerned about are those of a certain archduchess. Yes, you can hear them. Les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches, archi-sèches? Everywhere they say, les chaussettes de l'archiduchesse sont-elles sèches, archi-sèches? Who cares if the archduchess socks are dry or wet? My socks problems are more serious, but everybody cares about the archduchess and nobody cares about the poor Comte de Frou Frou. So I must confess that I am indeed completely desperate. I will pay anything, any price to get socks, mostly the very good quality silk socks.
Well, Frou Frou, I have good news for you. You have a golden opportunity to purchase the most aristocratic socks that are possibly available. Those have graced the legs themselves of the Prince Regent.
Sacre bleu, des arts gorgeous. Name your price, Monsieur Blackadder. Ah, you have come out here for a breath of fresh air. I have just concluded my business dealings with Monsieur Blackadder, and I am very happy with my purchase. But you seem like the adventurous sort, and more clever than most. Can you keep a secret? A secret that may mean the difference between life and death. Très bien. Follow me. Now, let me just remove this disguise and...
That's better. Like that lamp, will you? Surprised? It is I. Yes, aristocratic society knows me as Lord Tupper, an utter dandy and a fop. But lately I have taken on the disguise of Le Comte de Frou Frou. Yes, clever was it not? For you do not know my true identity, which is that of the Scarlet Pimpernel. What? You've never heard of the Scarlet Pimpernel? Ah, my dear. Well, to many, of course, especially to myself, they consider the Scarlet Pimpernel to be a symbol and a swashbuckling hero. You see, during the French Revolution, the mobs and the heathens took over and they removed the rightful heirs to the land, the true aristocratic cradle, the true aristocratic bloodlines that were meant to rule over that land. And so, I took them and I brought them all the way to England, where they could be free from these peasants. How did I get my name, you ask? Or perhaps you didn't ask, but I will tell you anyway. The Scarlet Pimpernel is a flower, which is representative of this courage and this heroism. You see, it is one of the most beautiful flowers. Of course, I am biased, but it represents all of this and more. Bravery, courage. And this is what was needed to save our brothers and sisters over in France. So, now that you know my true identity, what do you say? Will you join me on my magical and heroic adventures in courage and bravery? No? Are you sure you would rather go back to that butler? Well, suit yourself. I certainly don't understand it, but be careful, because the Scarlet Pimpernel does not only deal with injustices abroad, and I know all about Mr. Blackadder's little schemes. Do not be surprised if other parties soon know of it too. So be careful. I bid thee adieu.
Sir.
Not now, Baldrick.
But, sir, it's His Grace, the Duke of Wellington.
Ah, Your Grace, I did not hear you knock.
Knock. Do you think the Duke of Wellington knocks? Do you think I knocked when I led His Majesty's armies in the peninsula? Do you think I went tippy-tap during the 100 Days' War? Do you think the Battle of Waterloo was won by knocking?
No, Your Grace, of course not. But I thought, as this is a royal palace, you might take a slightly different approach. Anyway, could I trouble you to ask you a question?
If you must waste the time of your betters, fire away. What is it?
Well, Your Grace, it seems like your normally resonant voice seems a little bit hushed.
Yes, confound it. I seem to have come down with a case of laryngitis. My motto is, there's only one way to win a campaign. Shout, shout, and shout again. And I'll be damned if I can't even shout. Who's this then? Must be another imbecile servant. Bring me a cup of tea immediately. What is this? I ordered bloody tea. Why, you impertinent scoundrel.
voices to lead the way. Yes. Shouting really has made me the man I am today. And I am a duke. The Duke of Wellington. Did you know? Yes. Never has it failed me, shouting. Why, without it, I could be likened to a fluffy rabbit in uniform. However, a most strange side effect has taken effect. This laryngitis ailment has rather oddly changed my distinguished and famous appearance. I seem to have developed a rather godly forest of gruff hairs on my face. My voice diminishes while my beard blossoms. Yes. You see, before the wounds were dealt and delivered as crushing blows to my normally moist vocal cords, my skin here was as smooth as a baby's bottom, which is more than you can say of my bottom. Do you shout? Well, you should. But never dare to go up against the likes of me. I have never been defeated in battle. I am an undefeated titan of the battlefield. Dear Lord and Father of mankind. Yes, I suppose you would like to hear about my favourite battles. Yes, I know you would. You have me started now. Let me see. Yes. If you asked me to name my favourite 5 battles, I say, September 23rd, 1803, cannons, bayonets. Yes, that was a good one. What else? The Second Battle of Porto, May 12th, 1809. Let them cross. Yes. Not as good as the First Battle of Porto. Or was it? Salamanca, July 22nd, 1812. I love an anachronism. Of course, Vittoria, June 21st, 1813. And another one the same year, 1813. November, of course. Yes, November 10th. All this reminiscing. I feel my roar beginning to stir slowly from its slumber.
Your Grace, not that you're not always most welcome at the palace, but why have you graced us with your presence?
It's you scoundrel. You thought nobody would find out about your little escapade, stealing the prince's socks and selling them on the black market, or should I say the Blackadder market.
Ah, indeed. Well, in that case I am at your mercy, Your Grace. What do you intend to do?
Drag you in front of His Royal Highness is what I intend to do. We'll just see what he has to say about this, and bring this imbecile with you. I have no doubt they will be promoted to your position once you are horsewhipped and thrown into the street.
Ah, Wellington. And Blackadder. Why do you look like you've just sat upon a shit pie filled with pins?
Well, Your Royal Highness.
Because he's a bloody scoundrel and he's been found out. Blast him. Your Highness, this blasted criminal has been stealing your socks and selling them to Frenchmen.
I say, Blackadder, it was you the whole time. What a jolly bit of skylarking this has been.
Your Highness, he's been stealing from you. You ought to bloody execute the man.
Is that true, Blackadder? Is it really so serious as that?
Oh, Your Majesty, you hurt me to think that I would do this for my own personal gain and to line my own pockets. Oh, no. Yes, that's it. I heard of a mythical pair of socks, a golden pair of socks, that were perfect for a prince so handsome and so young as yourself. They would wash themselves in the morning, they would clean themselves at night, and they would always be in perfect, pristine condition, no matter when or why you were wearing them. Alas, the rumours were false. And so all of the money that I amassed to purchase these mythical socks was in vain.
I say, this is ludicrous.
Well, all's well that ends well, I say. Just fork over the cash, Bladder, that's a good lad, and I'll go sock shopping tomorrow for regular old, non-magical socks. In the meantime, I say, Wellington, join me for a bit of a snack at the Naughty Hellfire Club?
Why in damnation not? Lead on, Your Highness.
One moment, if you please, Your Royal Highness.
Why, it's young Snotty. Hello there, young shaver, my lad. I say, Snotty, you do rather look as though you've been through the ringer. Nothing a night at the Naughty Hellfire Club won't cure. Come along with us, Snotty. We'll show you some fun.
As I have told you once before, sir, your attitude does not surprise me, although what I have to say may well surprise you. Henceforth, your sock stipend has been cancelled for the next 5 years. Although, looking at you, sir, I wonder why I bother talking to you at all. As I look around this room, there only seems to be one person here who has the correct intelligence and empathy to be worth my while speaking to. That is you. Despite your lowly appearance, you seem to be the sort of person that would understand the suffering and the struggle I've had to endure. Why, I may only be 17 years old, and yet the constant strife and sleepless nights have taken their toll and aged me 30 years or more, which is quite evident by this sudden growth of beard and moustache. Why, it gives Nanny quite a fright when she brings in my tea and biscuits each evening. Yes, long have I fought to eradicate sloth and privilege from our nation. This is why I've implemented this important step in cancelling out the Prince Regent's sock allowance. Not only is this a practical way of cutting public spending, it is also symbolic. It's a message saying that no longer the spoilt caste of this nation can drink in excess the milk of public funding. No, wait, it's not that sort of calf. No. The spoiled calves of this nation can no longer go on expecting to be clothed in the fabric of the citizenry. Not just to the detriment of the backbone of this nation, the working man, but to all levels of society. Why, it seems like only yesterday it was I who stood in the big cold schoolroom hot crumpet burning my cheeks with shame. No, wait. That was just yesterday. Oh, never mind. What I have done today is very important, and it will teach the utter slob, the Prince of Wales, a lesson. And who knows? Perhaps 5 years without socks will make him think a bit and make him a better man, a better king eventually. One day he may thank me for this. Yes, one day we might even be friends. And he'll look back and he'll remember it was I, Pitt the Younger, who gave him this first steps on the path to righteousness. Yes, and then everyone will see that my strife and struggle was not for naught.
Well, Mr. Snotty, thicky, oily tick, thicky Prime Minister, I don't know what you expect me to do. A prince of the realm can't go around with cheap socks. The ladies wouldn't give me a second glance. Oh, I've got it. Blackadder, you wouldn't mind just an ever so slight reduction in your salary, will you? There's a good lad. It'll help me forget the whole sock stealing incident too.
Of course not, sir. Anything to be in service to the crown. Oh well. Another cunning plan down the water closet pipe. You know, I did really have high ambitions for myself. One of my relatives was a prince, nay, a king, and one of them was a favourite to the Queen, and I always thought I could rise through the ranks, not obviously to become a king, or a favourite necessarily to the Queen, but at least make something of myself. And by something I mean to be incredibly rich. That would have been wonderful. But, alas, some things are not to be. Well, there's still time, isn't there? I guess I could. Yes, still time. Still time.
Now what about me? My ancestors had much nicer hats.
Leave me alone, Baldrick. If I wanted to talk to a vegetable, I would have purchased one at the market.
Oh, cheer up, Mr. B. At least you get to keep your job.
Yes, Baldrick, as a lowly butler. But I want to be remembered when I'm dead. I want books to be written about me, songs to be sung about me. And hundreds of years in the future, I want episodes of my life to be played out on something called the internet by a heroic actor of their age.
Yeah, and I could be played by some tiny tit in a beard.